Sorry, future Sam. This is going to sound bad. I hope that you catch this.
Narrator's voice. He probably caught it.
Welcome to Book Club no Kiseki. I am Sam Allman.
I'm David Bernard Hauk.
I'm Matthew Jurgensen.
In the segment of Falcom's Kiseki series we're playing today is the prologue of The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky second chapter. But before we get started, what's up? I was going to think of something cute, but I didn't have anything cute today. So, what's up?
I mean, there's only so many ways to say it in a cute way, and we've already done a lot of episodes.
It's true.
I told
write in the comments a cute way to say what's up so I can keep this going.
Shout us out in the chat with your ways to say what's up, which are cute.
What's up, guys?
So what's up with me is I told my boss I'm quitting.
Hell yeah.
Because I hate my job and I am looking to change careers and teach English to people who don't know it yet. And not do customer service or retail or food service.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
We didn't set a specific last day for me. Probably going to be in a month or so. So I still have to do this job I hate for a while. But still, it's a weight lifted off me. And other than that, I spent most of the week watching GDQ, and now I'm in that post-GDQ days that last around a day or two, where you have to remember what you do with your free time when you're not watching GDQ.
The answer is watch all the VODs from the overnights that you missed and keep watching GDQ for another week.
Yeah, I did watch the Sonic Heroes task, which was pretty interesting.
It was really good.
One thing that I forgot is really fun about that game is how bad the translation is. Like, that didn't get to be showcased much in the tasks because they were skipping most of the in-game dialogue because they were going too fast for it. But it was just hearing lines like, making robots is the same as breaking them, just made it wash over me, remembering how bad the translation of that game is, which was really enjoyable. And which is weird because Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, like, they're weird and janky, but they're like, they make perfect sense. Like, a lot of the writing is silly, but it is sense make. But Sonic Heroes is not.
Yes.
So that's all that's up with me.
It made me want to replay that game, even though I know it's bad. And watching, like, I remember playing it a lot and loving it a lot. But watching the tasks, like, get so far out of bounds you can see the entire level and see how bad the entire level is at a glance, I was like, wow, this looks horrible. I should play it again. But that's Sonic. Every Sonic game is bad and every Sonic game is good, and they exist in this horrible quasi state at the same time.
I don't know. The classic Sonic games are just good, I would say, and some of the Sonic games are just bad, I would say. But there are definitely a lot which are both.
Yes. What about you, Matt? What have you been up to?
I moved. Well, I'm still moving, because I'm convinced that that's not a thing that ever actually ends.
Not until you start moving it again.
Yep. Like, there's no gap area between we are moving and we are planning to move. It just blends into it like a rat king. But that sure was something. We needed to get a new bed because, man, when you're renting a trailer, get a covered one. Don't not do that.
I can't believe your box spring just like up and flew out of the.
It was amazing too, cause like we hit a bump and it was straight out of a cartoon. It just popped up and it did like a complete 180 and smashed into the road behind us. And I mean, it's a country road, so we were able to like actually go to the next driveway and safely park the truck and trailer. And, like, go pick up what was left of it. Did I even send you the picture? I should have. I don't think I did.
You didn't.
Okay.
You didn't leave it in the road for the next driver like Mario Kart?
If odds are, given the state of that road, the next driver would have been me. And, there's a reason I throw all my bananas behind me instead of front of me in Mario Kart, because I will immediately hit them. Like, oh, I threw that banana. Wait, it's a gold coin. Better get a...
Yeah. Me with the green shells as well. I'm like, all right, take that, Donkey Kong, and it bounces off of the perpendicular wall in front of me and hits me straight in the face.
I once hit a couch on the highway.
You hit a couch?
On the highway. Yeah. I guess someone lost a couch, and I was driving behind this big truck, so I couldn't see what was in front of the truck. And then the truck very suddenly changed lanes, and directly in front of me was a couch, and I had no time to change lanes or anything, because this truck had waited until the last moment, I guess, to get out of the way of the couch, so I hit a couch.
Ouch.
Yeah. I was fine. And it bounced into the shoulder, so that's good.
I was just about to ask, because like in my head, I was constructing this cartoony picture of where it just kind of like bounced off the front of your car somewhere. But that could like have gone under, or...
No, it went into the shoulder after I hit it, so I moved it for everyone else.
I was hoping that it exploded like a vegetable stand in the middle of a car chase in an action movie.
No, that would have been bad.
But it would have looked cool.
It might have looked cool, but it also would have been bad. Like smoking.
Oh, did I lose y'all? No.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt your anecdote with my better anecdote.
Oh, I've been wounded. But it ended up being a good thing, because there was no way in hell we were getting a box spring up the stairs, because it's old-timey stairs, where like you take one step up, and then you turn 45 degrees and walk up the rest of the stairs.
Fun.
That sounds bad.
It's fine for like 60% of furniture. But anyway, we were able to find a box spring that it comes in pieces, like it almost looks like a futon frame in the box. And you just put like a diaper on it. Put it together.
I've seen those.
And you put a diaper on it, and then it's a box spring. It's awesome.
Cool.
What else did I do? I did something else I wanted to talk about. Ooh! I bought Scarlet Nexus. That game's cover looks really cool, but I have not played it.
I really want to play Scarlet Nexus. I've heard nothing but good things.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about it, because like the teaser trailer when they announced it at the Xbox thing, whenever that was, looked really cool, but then I was like, I don't know, it's like a action game, and I don't know how I want all of those things, but the more trailers, the more everything came out. I really want it now.
There's all those trailers, and apparently all those tailors, by which I mean people who worked on the Tales games who made it.
Hey, I like that a lot, actually.
Apparently, like I forget which Tales game alumni worked on it, but all the all the Tales games that they worked on are the ones I've heard are good. None of this Tales of Innocence or whatever. It was like Tales of Legendia.
Okay.
I should. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, as the resident Tales stan, I think I'm contractually obligated to get it now.
Mm-hmm. I should play Tales.
You should.
I almost didn't get it. I had every intention of getting Oddworld Stranger's Wrath instead. But, what's that?
I said, great game.
Yeah, I've heard it's really good, and they put it on PS5, and I'm like, you know what? I love me an Oddworld. It's one of those weird series where I've somehow played all of their entries at this point. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll go and give it a try. But like, I switched to Scarlet Nexus for the dumbest reason, because when I walked into GameStop, the lady's like, we don't have the Steelbook for Oddworld Strangers, Oddworld the new one, but we just got Scarlet Nexus in, and I'm like, I want the Steelbook, so I'm gonna get Scarlet Nexus instead, because I'm a toddler.
Nice.
Wait, do you mean Stranger's Wrath for the Xbox video game console, or the Soulstorm for the PlayStation 5 video game?
Soulstorm. Okay. I realized I said that wrong.
Okay.
But yes.
Soulstorm is also great. I got it for free for PlayStation Plus, and it owns, and it's real good.
You got to
play Oddworld sometime.
Didn't it just come out like 5 days ago? Okay, that's awesome.
Well, it came out a few months ago digitally, and it was free on PS Plus at launch, which is wild. And then I think the physical release just came out a few days ago.
Oh. Well, I guess I'm glad I got Scarlet Nexus, because maybe it'll be free on PlayStation Plus again. Anyway,
I don't know.
But,
that's the things I did. How about you, Sam?
I watched a lot of GDQ, edited a lot of weddings, but I'm fiendishly close to being done with editing these weddings, so I will have free time again. So I'm doing a really stupid thing and doing Longcast and Book Club no Kiseki and main podcast. 3 episodes a week, why not? Just kill me, I guess. As soon as I get my free time back, I'm squandering it all. But I'm excited because Longcast is going to be a hoot and a half. But
yes.
Speaking of Book Club no Kiseki, let's record a Book Club no Kiseki episode. Let's listen to... I don't think we had any new music this week. If we did, we'll do that. If not, it'll be something.
I'm pretty sure we had a few tracks where I was like, ooh, the graphics are the same, but the music is different. And at the very least, there's different battle tracks.
Yeah, but the battle track and the victory track are our intro and outro for every season, so those don't count. But if there is other new music, then we will listen to that now.
All right.
And taking advantage of Matt moving and therefore not having 8 entire seconds of lag, Matt, take it away.
All right. Let me just... There we go. All right. So the game starts in a fairly similar way to Game 1, with a prolonged scene of Estella waking up. I kind of love that. And she gives us a actually pretty cool little brief recap of the very ending of the last game. Well, it was cool until it got sad. And she pops out of bed as soon as she shakes off the sleepiness, goes looking for Joshua. She immediately runs past Shara.
Sherazade, yeah.
Who Shara thinks, implies that her and Josh were doing more than just talking, if you know what I mean. But Estelle explains nothing and continues to look for Joshua.
I have to say, I found this hilarious because Shara was like, "Oh, you just came out of Joshua's room," and I'm like, "That's also Cassius's room."
Yeah.
Like, no, they wouldn't have been able to do anything because that's also Cassius's room. You idiot. Anyway, go on.
Oh, I was gonna say that's a really good point that I didn't think of. But anyway, Shara points towards Cassius, who is on the upper garden area, which immediately Estella runs off to that, and we get our first little bit of taking control of the game. It moves around very much the same. We wander around the garden, which isn't much of a garden because it's just kind of moss and trees, until we find Cassius, who already knows Joshua has stepped out for a gallon of milk.
He went to go get some cigarettes, and he'll never ever be back.
Exactly. Estella wants to immediately go looking for him because. Oh, I screwed that up. Estella wants to immediately go looking for him, but Cassius tells her that he wants her to have nothing to do with it and forget about Joshua because of the Society of Ouroboros. They're very scary. They're a super secret organization that does shady stuff, and we find out they orchestrated the coup from last game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one thing I love about this series so far is like the first game we kind of had no idea what was going on. We were kind of just hanging out and doing our thing, and then the villain like showed their hand in the last like 5 seconds, and that they're now the villain. Like we get right to it. It's not like say Kingdom Hearts 2 where it's like, oh, we just went through knowing that the organization is like the bad people, so let's go through like 6 or 7 Disney worlds before like the fire is lit underneath us type thing. It just, oh, we know what we're doing, so let's go and that's now what we have to do is go and stop Ouroboros and save Joshua. And we have a point to this game where we didn't have a point to the first game, and I like that a lot.
I pronounce Ouroboros the same way that Matt does, but you pronounce it a different way, so I think I should find a fun third way to pronounce it.
I was watching something very recently that said Ouroboros, and I was like, I like that. It flows off the tongue a little better. So I am a recent changeover to Ouroboros.
Alboros. The Society of Alboros.
I was going to insert a hilarious board game story here.
Go for it.
So I don't know if you know this, but there's several, in fact, Resident Evil deck building games.
What?
Did not know that.
Yeah, there's one for Resident Evil 3, 4, and 5 individually, and they can all be mixed in together. They're somewhat asymmetrical because you take different characters. So you're actually playing as Wesker or Chris or whatever. We were playing the 5th game, which has a final enemy named Ouroboros. Or Ouroboros, or whatever. And we saw it 6 times in exploring the mansion in the first 9 cards. And it became just this dumb running joke of like, alright, I'm going to try and fight a zombie to get some money to do some stuff. Oh, Ouroboros, look, I died. I lose everything and start over. Your turn, Zach. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna explore the dungeon. Look, a baby zombie. Well, I'll go up. It's Ouroboros. I died. And it hit that point where it's the perfect level of laugh frustrated. I'm like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Oh, look, Ouroboros is in here. I died. And then we got yelled at by Corey's neighbors. The end.
If you're playing the Resident Evil 5 version and your opponent is playing as Chris, can you play as a boulder?
I think boulder is actually one of the weapons you can upgrade into.
Nice.
I would love to get this joke. I should play a Resident Evil game.
In Resident Evil 5, there's an infamous scene at the climax where Chris punches a boulder. I forget the details, but like a boulder's coming at him and he punches it.
That's great.
And he wins.
It's actually a really great deck building game if you can find it. It was only printed once, I believe, and the company, I think, went under. So there's just that small number of copies that are out there. But it's great.
Isn't there some sort of Final Fantasy trading card game that no one plays?
I've played it. It's good. It's
Cool.
hard, though.
I mean, it's a trading card game. Isn't it supposed to be hard?
It depends. Like, most of the really good trading card games are, like, front-end easy, but back-end hard. So, like, Magic is untap, upkeep, draw, main phase 1, combat, main phase 2, end step. That, in and of itself, is pretty easy if you remember those phases. And if you remember you play one land a turn. Can you count those colors? Cool, you can play that spell. When it gets complicated is when you're playing, like, high-level Magic, and you're like, I need to understand all the intricate layers of the stack. What the Final Fantasy card game is, and unfortunately a lot of Japanese card games are this way, not all of them, are, like, front-end difficult. So, like, you need to know, okay, this is round 5, so I have all these different interactions that I couldn't do in round 4. And also, all of my cards count as resources, spells, and monsters, but not all at the same time. But, like, once you lock in the front-end difficult mechanics, the back end is like, okay, you win by hitting your opponent 5 times. Let's get him.
Yeah.
That sounds appropriate for Final Fantasy. A lot of flashy bullshit, but then the actual mechanics don't get that deep. Hey. Boom. Roasted with an opinion I don't actually hold.
Yeah. I feel games in general, like, we were actually talking about this during GDQ with platformers, where, like, games are good when they are front-end easy and then do a lot of cool things with that. And that's why Magic is good. And a lot of these more super complicated games, like, frankly, Android Netrunner is super complicated up front. And when you play, you kind of just do it, and it's okay. I really enjoy it because I like complicated bullshit garbage. But the games are really good when you basically have a joystick and a do button, and go from there.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that.
Even with, like, card games and board games, my rule of thumb is the back end should at least be more complicated than the front end. So even if it's like a high difficulty front end board game, like, once you get to that back end and you're like, oh man, if I activate this whole row of birds, I'm gonna draw 14 cards, gain 8 bugs, and lay a bunch of eggs. I'm talking about Wingspan for those who are following along at home.
But wouldn't the birds eat the bugs?
Oh yeah, that's how you get them into your sanctuary.
Your little tum-tum.
Yep. Anyway.
Anyway, Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky, 2nd chapter.
Yep. Let's see, where were we at? We were just talking about the Society of Ouroboros. Now, I'm just going to say it different every single time. But Cassius isn't done ruining Estelle's day for her. We find out that Cassius knew that Joshua would bail if the Society came knocking, and that he specifically doesn't want Estelle involved with them, because they're super dangerous, and he thinks that she and he should just let Joshua go. And for the first time in the series, we see Estella act childish, as opposed to silly or dense, which I think goes a long way to speak to, how distressed she is in this current situation. as she loudly declares she hates Cassius and storms off. Entering from the same side of this stage as Estella is leaving comes Shara. And she tells Cassius that she can't judge him, but at the same time, and I wanted to get this quote exactly right, he and Joshua are the two most miserable sons of dogs I have ever had the displeasure of knowing. Because she's right. They both kind of suck. Right now.
And they're sons of dogs of no particular sex.
Yeah.
I do like that it's just sons of dogs as opposed to the very obvious translation it was supposed to be. We jump back to Estella, and it starts raining as she hits the denial stage of grief. And she is now convinced that Joshua has rushed home ahead of everyone. Smash cut to the intro of Trails of Cold Steel, 2nd chapter.
In the sky, not Cold Steel. That's a big smash cut if we go all the way to Cold Steel.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It is Trails of the Sky, 2nd chapter. My bad. I even wrote Trails of Cold Steel because I'm the worst.
I really like Estelle's little period of delusion here. I love it.
Yeah.
It's very real, and it's so painful to watch. Especially because it's coming from Estelle, who we spent an entire game with just being a weird goofball.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, she also has to carry the edgy angst part that Joshua used to bring to the table, too. And it's just, wrecks me.
Because Annalise sure ain't gonna carry it.
Oh, God, no.
Nope, she ain't.
I love her.
Me too.
She's so good. But we're not there yet. We're not
quite there yet.
We get a short quote of Joshua's whiny sad boy letter about his own poor decisions, and the screen transitions to Estelle on an airship lamenting over the line. Some jerk-ass with a dumb haircut tries to hit on Estelle. I hate him. He looks like an OC palette swap of Vosh and Stampede from Trigun without the cool parts.
Oh my gosh. I haven't even seen Trigun, but I know which character you're referring to.
Oh man. Oh good, jerk-ass has a name. It's Kevin, and he's a priest. I only say this for posterity. He's gonna have to earn me not calling him jerk-ass. Yeah, I'm just gonna transition to it now. Kevin offers to listen to Estelle's problems because I guess that's part of his job. And she starts breaking down, blaming herself. Which, at this point, I thought, man, fuck Joshua. It was his stupid decision to leave. And then
I have bad news. Sorry to interrupt. Kevin is the main character of Trails in the Sky the Third.
No! Well,
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Does he get a new haircut, or does he dye the front part of his hair the same color as the rest at least?
No, he does not.
In my notes, I go through a journey where I really, really hated Kevin. And then there's a part later, which we're getting to, that I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to walk back my hatred, because he's just a creep. He's not a bad creep.
Yeah, by the time we finish this
I just hate his hair.
Maybe by the time we finish, we'll learn to love his hair, but...
You know,
let's see.
If you actually look at the art for Vosh the Stampede, it's the same haircut. I do not know why it works for Vosh, and it does not work for Kevin. But, like...
It's because Kevin has this lighter part in the front and these lighter parts on the side that look really weird, as though he were middle-aged, even though he is, I've just checked, 21 years old.
But he's JRPG 21.
Maybe the top pointy part is just a hat. Maybe we find that out later.
It's a Brendan from Pokemon situation.
But anyway, I'm at this juncture. I was thinking, man, Joshua made the decision to leave, but he knows Estella. He should have written the letter very explicitly to say, no, this is my thing that I'm doing. It's not your fault, because she is breaking apart because she blames herself here. Kevin comforts her a little bit. we shift past what we are led to believe is a lengthy cry session to her apology, which I also think is dumb because nobody should apologize for having emotions. He takes the opportunity to hit on her a little bit more, but we also find out he's a door-to-door sales priest who's new in town. Estella mocks him. Go ahead.
I actually think this is cool world building that answers a question that I never bothered to ask about JRPG towns, where like the church is super important to like everyone everywhere. Like everything revolves around the religion, but like small ass towns in the middle of nowhere can't afford to have a big ass church in their town, and so he goes there to like help people fulfill their religious duties and then move on to the next game.
Yeah. Not even just that though, but like, you know, we learned in the first game that the church is the one responsible for making all the medical stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, bandages and potions and all that stuff. And it's not to say that people in cities wouldn't need it, but people living out rural, like,
needed a lot
too. And that was actually something that I was thinking about way back when I was playing Trails of Cold Steel. I'm like, how do these people in this remote village without a church get Band-Aids? Yeah. Like,
they just really hope a traveling priest wanders in and is like, is anyone dying right now?
Like, you've got half an hour, so if you're gonna die, do it before my lunch break. Estelle mocks him for being bad, unironically uses the word ninny, and says she should trust Joshua. One of those things I really hate. I'll leave it up to you to guess which one. This is actually great. There's a scene that'd be awkward about brother-boyfriend Joshua if you hadn't played the first game, and I laughed out loud at it. They kind of missed an opportunity here for Father Kevin, or Kevin. I wrote Father because I keep calling him jerk-ass for like another page. But this is the first inklings where you like kind of pick up that he might be good at his job, because he recognizes or alludes to recognizing the situation pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And he decides to accompany Estella home. They land. Estella says she doesn't need the company, but Kevin insists, and we gain control again.
One thing that I love about this part where you can get control, and you also could do it at the castle, is you can talk to like everybody who's there and get little scenes, and all of them, every person is like, yeah, Joshua dumped you to go be a Nazi. You should just move on. And Estelle's like, I'm sorry, I don't understand the question. And it's heartbreaking, every single one. And I took the time to talk to every person in Roland because it's all good.
There's one that isn't sad, but is funny. There's two funny ones in Roland, where the little kid from the first game, who is sexist and weird, like throws down a anime style fight challenge, and Estelle's like, no. She's like, you can't turn me down, you're a bracer now. And he's like, I can though. And then the little girl, I believe it's the same little girl we do that quest for, is like, what, a love triangle? And she describes a bad plot from a daytime TV show. It's like, oh, small child, you don't know what you're talking about right now. Anyway, also the walk back to Estella's house felt really weird. I had been playing Moon, and if you have played that game on the Nintendo Switch Entertainment System, it is the same like movement back from the town to the house, but if you don't sleep, you die. So I was like having weird like, oh, I need to hurry. Wait a minute, that's not this game. Anyway, we're all this time too. We're getting the Estella, continuing to operate under the delusion that Josh will be at the house.
Mm-hmm.
And Kevin is like, sure, okay. Right up into the house, at the front door, where she rushes in saying that, I can't wait to introduce you to Joshua, Kevin. I think he's gonna like you. And there's the great scene where, like, she rushes in, and Kevin is steeling himself to deal with what's about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's where, in my notes, he gets his own name back.
Yeah. He's not just Father Jerkass anymore.
No, he isn't. That's where you're like, okay, you're a creep, but you're good at this. Oh no. There we go. She does the very typical search every room of the house, and it is absolutely devastating each room. She's like, oh, maybe she's in the office, and like you can actually you don't capture it in the game, but in your mind you're like, oh, every instance she's giving up more and more hope, until she finally gets to Joshua's room, and when that sprite, like her sprite, slumps to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, I need to walk away from this game for a minute. This is too real. Kevin walks into the room. He is surprisingly kind about the wild goose chase Estella's put him through. He, in fact, goes from, like, pervy goofball to, like, full-on support mode. Offering her help with considering why he might have gone, and we get a series of flashbacks.
Mm-hmm.
We, the players, have pieced it together, but Estelle doesn't quite remember everything. But she makes the connection that Joshua's off to stop the foul magician. And at that juncture, in walks Cassius and Shara. Shara does the motherly admonishment of Estella for running away. Like, I'm not mad because you had a good reason, but, like, you shouldn't do that because we were worried. And to my surprise, only because I thought this scene would happen later in the game, Cassius apologizes for being insensitive here.
Mm-hmm.
Although it readily admits that it's because Shara spent the entire airship ride explaining to him that he was being an asshat, which is great. Estella and Cassius have a really good father-daughter moment here, and the sprite hug is actually really good, because usually it's awkward.
Love sprite hugs.
Yup. And then anime intro, baby. It has tanks and mechs, so obviously it's great.
Yeah. Did you watch the evolution one that I had put in the thing?
I don't think I did, but I should. I intended to.
The evolution intro, the animators are incredibly off-model for everyone. It looks like a fan art of every character. It does not look right. Something is weird, and I don't like it, and it's very distressing to me. So I want you to watch it so that you can be distressed like I am, because the intro was different, and everyone just slightly doesn't look like themselves.
Oh, I don't like that. I'm gonna have to watch it. All right. So after the anime intro, we fast forward 2 months to Estelle and Annalise. How are we saying that? It's
Annalise.
Spelled Annalise? Okay, because
Yeah.
it's my brain was reading it
Annalise.
Annalise.
Annalise, yes. If it helps, my game is voice acted, so
Okay.
the Japanese, it's Annalise.
Okay, sounds great. Annalise it is. They're sparring. We get a fairly cool, sprite-based 3D action sequence, but it's interrupted by breakfast, as most good fight sequences are. At this point, I start to wonder if Estelle's got a new sprite outfit.
She does.
Yeah, there's a whole adventure here where, like, my eyes are bad, my memory is worse, And then immediately, as soon as I'm having this thought, it immediately flashes back to Cassius, Estelle, and Shara discussing Estelle getting trained at Guild Scout camp. Called the Local. And then they literally answer my question when Shara tells Estelle that after her application is sent, she's getting a new set of clothes as a graduation present. So that was cool. You meet Kurt, who has like the next evolution of the dumb forehead band-aid, where it's a dumb forehead metal plate. He sends you on a training mission into some old runes. We get the new Orbament, which is a clever way to circumvent...
starting over level 1.
Starting over at level 1, because it's an upgraded Orbament, but it doesn't fit the new magic marbles, so you need to make new magic marbles.
Yeah.
We buy... go ahead.
It's like such a good... like thing too, because they're like, yeah, you have to start over, but then you'll get new cooler shit at the end because we added things to how the game works, and so you get to use the cool new stuff from the game, but also you get to be functionally at level 1, even though level 1 in this game is level 30, I believe. But
yeah, I think I started at 35.
Yeah, level 30 is if you go in without a save game. 35 is if you have literally any save game, and then level 40 is if you got that perfect 100% BP garbage.
Gotcha. Yep, and it also gives us a good opportunity to see like Estelle's commitment to getting stronger here to save our damsel in distress, Joshua. Because If this same scene had happened in the previous game where they'd offered to swap out, I'm not entirely certain Estelle would have been as adamant about switching out. Anyway, I thought that was a neat thing that was worth talking about right there. Kurt sends us on a fancy training mission to a place that I thought would be way cooler, but it's just another set of sewers. I'm not complaining, though. I love sewers. It's fairly bog standard sewer level. Raise and lower waters, extend bridges. I found 2 or 3 chests in here. I don't know about you guys.
There are like 12 chests in here.
I was about to say I found like a dozen.
I easily got lost because I could not make the map do what I wanted it to. This will be a theme. I also got lost in the forest. Let's see, where are we at? Yep. We fight Kurt at the end. I had a little bit of a tough time with him. Not so much so that I was concerned about actually winning the fight, but it took significantly longer than I thought it would for a first boss fight. But it makes sense, because technically, all of the Trails in the Sky games are, if you think about them as all one game, this is the first boss fight of Act 2 anyway, so it's going to be harder. I don't know about you guys.
I remember having to engage with the mechanics on him, but I did not find any of the bosses terribly hard this week. But also, I have the DLC because I have it on Vita, and the Vita one has DLC, and the DLC starts you off with some extra Septium, so I probably have more slots filled than you guys do.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Cheating.
Yeah, it is, but it's okay.
Dumb cheating meme from yestertimes.
Fun fact about the DLC. So if you are playing on the Vita and you are using the English translation patch for the Vita, you have to play it in English up until the point where you can open your DLC, save the game, go turn the patch off, come back, open your DLC, turn the patch back on, because something about how it has special formatting for just the you opened your DLC items things that completely crashes the game if you have the if you have the DLC on, or if you have the translation patch on. So in the notes it says, "Hey, get to X place, save your game, turn it off, and do it because we have no idea why it happens. So just work around it."
I really want these games to get an English release on Switch or PS4 or something, because either you have to deal with translation patches and stuff on Vita, or you have to deal with PC gaming, which I had to like open and close the game like 3 times to get to the configuration menu so that I could get the visual settings just right, then start the game. Then the controller settings weren't right, so I start again, get the controller settings right, then start the game, and then the visual settings have reverted, so I have to stop the game again and then redo the visual settings. And I don't like PC gaming a lot of the time.
Yeah, you could just go and purchase this game on the PlayStation Network on the Vita and play the PSP version if you wanted to.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't think you would.
I may end up doing that just for expediency's sake, because something I found out this week, it's really hard to start a Steam game if you're not connected to the interwebs.
Yeah.
And I did not think it would be that hard. Anyway.
PC gaming.
PC gaming. Anyway, we fight Kurt. I had a tough time, but, well, not as tough a time as I'm about to have, because I did not interact with the game very well. Anyway, this is followed by bonus training, air quotes. We don't get to see what bonus training is. I'm assuming it's making tea in the forest, out of what you find. But anyway, our 2 heroines make it back by nightfall. Annalise and Estelle chat about other bracers, and we learn about the Bracer Guild level system. You start at F rank, and you work your way up by gathering points. For everyone who isn't Estella, it's gathering points from saving cats from trees and beating up slimes on the road. Presumably, she's going to have to fight God on the moon to get to A rank.
I love the idea that like every other bracer is just like, yeah, I delivered packages for like 10 years and I've made my way up to B rank. And Estelle's like, yeah, I had to save the universe to even become a bracer, but okay.
Yeah, in this scene, Annalise is like, yeah, I've been a senior bracer for about 1.5 years. It is wild to me. I love it. That is a theme that will carry forward into our next arc of games. And I'm not going to talk about it here, but it's dumb, and I love it. Anyway, they have a pretty interesting evening chat and go off to bed. However, it is not a peaceful sleep. It is disturbed by gunfire. And we rush off to see what it is. We go downstairs, Estella and Annalise, the actual we, not the royal we. Kurt is hurt. He's bleeding on the floor. He does the go down on one knee anime thing, so we know it's serious. He tells us there are Jaegers, and it is time to fight. One smashes through the window and provides us the perfect opportunity. He is pretty tough. I had to engage with the game mechanics, but nobody went down or dropped below half health. I don't know how he went for you guys, so please tell me.
It was fairly tough, but all the fights were fairly tough for me, but I got them in one go. One of the fights was really, really tough for me, but I did get it in one go.
Yeah, I am no longer on very easy like I was the first game, but I think I'm only on normal. But again, the Vita version has actual difficulty levels too, which is cool. But I don't remember having any like particular trouble. Just like I was on my toes and had to do the thing and like make sure I was interrupting him from doing the thing. Like, oh, I can see on the side he's going to get a critical, so I'm going to heal this turn even though I don't need it, just because heals have a shorter thing, so that'll go off and he won't get a critical to kick my ass next turn or whatever.
I don't remember precisely what it was that I had a tough time with it. Oh, I do remember. I didn't make enough orbaments for both Annalise, and Estelle, and I think I ended up equipping them the backwards way to where I should have. But that's okay. Soon enough I'll be swimming in magic marbles and it won't matter.
Yeah. The early game is so weird in both of these games. You're like, okay, well, I only have like 3 things, so how do I do it? And then every side quest gives you like 6 marbles, and in the end you're just like, I don't know, like I can't even wrap my brain around which one of these is the best one. So number go up, and we'll just hope that works.
How is this hard to remember? All you have to do is you have to fight enemies to gain Sepith to create quartz to slot in your orbments after upgrading your orbment slots. It's that simple.
And the best part is your joke complicated thing doesn't even talk about like the element levels to unlock the arts and all the actual complicated stuff that's actually in the game.
One thing I will mention about the upgraded orbments, I do like how that explains how your base level healing spell is now stronger because you have more HP.
Yep.
It's just you have a better orbment now.
I spent a lot of time confused, and I had to redo the making the orbment section a couple of times. So like, why isn't green making the healing? I don't understand. It's because that's a different game, Matt. That ain't it. This is blue this time. Anywho's-a-bee. Alright. We beat that guy up. But then a second Jaeger shows up and smoke bombs us the fuck out. We wake up in the woods with our gear. For some reason, I have a sneaking suspicion here, that started here. Our two party members decide we should go back to the lodge to make sure everything is alright. So off we go.
They specifically don't have their gear, though.
Yeah, they do not have their gear.
They keep their items. I kept, oh god. My, like, healing stuff, I think?
Yeah, but the
whole plot is to find your equipment.
Let me rephrase. When I wrote that note, I was under the assumption that they still had their fighting gear. This is why I got screwed up a little bit later here.
Oh, did you not go and find all your fighting gear?
I found a couple pieces, and I did not equip them.
Oh.
Honey.
Right up through this entire section of playing.
So here's a fun fact, and it'll help you for all times when you get lost. Always make right turns, and you'll find everything in the dungeon. And so if you get to a part where you find the exit before you've done everything, treat that as a dead end. Keep making right turns. You'll get all the way through the dungeon. You'll find all of your things. Do not need to get lost, and you won't have to fight Kurt with a training sword.
Yep, it wasn't great, but I got through most of the fights coming up. Not all of them. But yeah, at this juncture, I did not realize that I needed to find all of our equipment. So I found a pair of boots. I'm like, these boots seem like they might be better than the boots I have on. I'll equip them later. I did not equip them later. Let's see. Where are we at? I also had a really tough time actually navigating the forest. Some of the entrances are blended in with the trees.
Mm-hmm.
And I could not easily discern what was a pathway. Like, I spent an hour and a half going through the same 3 screens in the forest. Like, where do go?
Yeah,
Anyway.
you want to keep the camera pointed north all the time because then it's harder to get disoriented. But if you do that, you can't see any of the paths.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I delivered pizza for all of college to pay my bills, and that gave me a really good sense of direction. And I forget that that's not a thing that everybody did to get through college. And so I was rotating my camera like nobody's business. And I found where to go because I had a better sense of all the thing.
I mean, I delivered... Oh, go ahead.
I delivered groceries for years, and I still have a terrible sense of direction because I'm not smart.
I delivered sandwiches and same.
Okay, well, then maybe I'm better than you. I was trying to temper my ego there, but thank you for confirming what I already knew, that I am the ultimate person and you all suck.
Fair enough. We make it to the exit of the forest, but then we get attacked by Gunjaeger.
Oh no, not Gunjaeger.
Now with 40% more gun. This fight
Gunjaeger! You actually yag gun!
This fight was really hard
obtuse
until
reference.
I realized... Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you.
Oh, I was just saying that was a pretty obtuse reference I just made. Go on.
I was gonna say, this fight was really hard until I realized you could use magic to kind of stun lock the Jaeger. Because if you just keep casting Fireball, she keeps throwing this dumb spider thing to counter your Fireball, but then Annalise can go in and stab her instead of running away.
I went a long time in this fight without using arts because the information panel for this boss said something like, we'll counter arts, and there was some adverb even. So I was like, ah, shit, an adverb. So I didn't use arts for a while, but I wasn't doing near enough damage, so I tried using arts, and she didn't do anything to counter it for me.
She'll... go ahead.
I just said wild.
Oh, yeah. She'll counter the first two arts, but you know how she does the thing where she, like, runs away from you and then shoots at you?
Mm-hmm.
She runs about a third the distance if she's getting close to counter the arts, which is just enough that you can keep chasing her around and physically attacking her. As opposed to what I was trying to do, which was, for a little bit, was just try and close in for regular attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so we beat Gunjaeger. We head back to the lodge, and we Scooby-Doo that they have a new camp by going around and looking at clues. You know, there's a missing map, there's some blood on the floor, there's a broken spear, the broken window. We're just about to piece it together where Orbment Shop Man runs in and says, I was hiding. Y'all need anything? And we say no, because I forgot that I still need orbs in this game as opposed to older games.
Yep.
And he tells us, we describe a defensible location. And he says, well, there's that mini fortress we built on site for training purposes. Is a fortress a defensible location? And we say, yeah, probably. We should go there and find out.
It is, after all, the only place on the map we haven't been to yet. There's 4 places, and we've been to 3.
There's also that. So we run off to storm the castle. We get to the fort, and it feels weird. It is machiney and metally, as opposed to rocky and like stone fortresses that we're used to. It felt like going through a whole different game, but it was also kind of cool. It had It had
Zeiss was a metal-y, steampunky everything last game, so it didn't feel that weird to me. You did have a whole chapter that took place inside of a big-ass factory.
It felt like different to me. It felt like Star Wars versus Star Trek to me, if that makes sense.
Okay.
I don't know why.
It did strike me as a very elaborate construction for this little training camp to have.
This is also a terrible fortress to try and defend. There's no windows. There's no battlements. There's no fixed artillery pieces. We need to talk to this architect. Anyway, but what they do have is a really cool night vision goggle maze that I also got very lost in. As you go up, you open doors. It is very much a dungeon with neat equipped challenges. And then we run into Spear Jaeger. Oh, nope. That's not quite yet.
Yeah.
No, the Google Vision? Yep, it is Spear Jaeger. He says villain words, and then we fight.
He's so hard!
He's hot?
Hard!
Oh, yeah. Hard. I mean, he could be hot, but he is very hard. This took me forever. In fact, right now, I'm still fighting it.
In some ways, we're all still fighting it.
Legend says he's still fighting it.
In the beginning, there were two titans, Matt and Spear Jaeger. And we, the Holmes, live on Matt.
See, that would explain this pain in my back more than moving a couch.
I beat Spear Jaeger in one try, but it took me for fucking ever because he has a heal spell and I could not outpace it. And he killed Annalise, and then I revived Annalise, and then he killed Estelle, and then I revived Estelle, and it took a very long time.
Yeah, he killed Annalise several times for me. I had enough foods. I don't remember which food they sell that heals her, but I had enough of those to keep her alive and not get too stuck in the JRPG spiral. But it was not an easy task to take down Spear Jaeger.
Yep. Like I said, I'm still like the first time I went to fight that fight, it took me 45 minutes just to lose it, and I did not drop Spear Jaeger below half health because I don't know if it might have gotten stuck in a loop, but it was doing its 1,000-point heal and did that 4 turns in a row. Like that, Am I just supposed to lose this fight? Is that what's like? Is this a fixed fight where you can't win?
No.
No, you have to beat Spear Jaeger. And someday I will. At this point, though, we find out that the Jaegers are Grant and Karna. The whole thing was this whole endeavor was one big hazing thing done at Lilac. Estella and Angelise and I think it's bullshit, but we graduated, so whatever.
Yep.
I love to be lied to by my
People that I
authority
trust.
figures.
Yeah.
But on the bright side, Karna has new art, and she's hot in her new art, too.
It is extremely good. I can't wait to see it for real. Okay. Here we have a series of smash cuts to things that are happening that we as players vaguely know about. We pan to a more different military base with a green-haired kid named Campanella and Lo. They talk about sinister villain things, and something called the Angius Gospel Plan, which I absolutely read the first time as Anus Gospel Plan.
So Campanella is not talking to himself. He's talking to Lawrence, who we find out his real name is Lowe. You skipped over who he was talking
Sorry.
There's a lot of random bullshit in this scene, and it would be hard to keep track of what's important and what's not.
True.
Also, there's stuff later. I don't want to go into spoilers. Never mind. Don't worry about it. Dun dun da. We also get a second smash cut scene.
Oh, also, not to interrupt you again, but amongst the other bullshit that happened is Weissman is there, a.k.a. Professor Alba is there, and he's like, yes, I am the villain of this piece. Look at my angry anime portrait now, and I am villain.
Right. And what's his name? Campman is like, and I, Agent Number 0, the Fool, reporting in, and I'm like, oh my god, are they doing even more Tarot shit?
Yep.
Guess it's a JRPG, so they'll probably do Tarot shit.
Yup.
Have to.
We do another weird cut to Joshua placing flowers on a grave. I was having a difficult time following through with this because I kept hitting my fast forward button on accident. Mm-hmm. But he is there with the Capua gang from last game. I'm glad they're back. I love them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're talking about sad things like burnt down village. We get, I didn't write her name down. I think it's Kate. Karen. Yes, Joshua is placing flowers on a person named Karen's grave. We get vague. He has a plan, capital P, and it's taking him to Liberl.
Mm-hmm. Everybody, we are Estelle. We see the bad guy, and we see the. I hope he's not a bad guy, and all of them say, now we have to go to the land being swallowed by the creeping shadow to Liberl.
Dun,
Title
dun,
card.
Dun.
And Joshua and the Capulas, the Capulas talk about how Joshua got them out of prison or wherever they were, basically resolved the thing that would be preventing them from being at large. And Joshua's like, I'm using you. And the Capulas are like, we're using you. And they're like, we're all friends using each other.
Hey.
I mean, it is also a JRPG prison. They just have screen doors in the back.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a named character, you can just walk out it. Anyway.
Also, because I feel it'll probably come up and be important because it's the reason Joshua was there. But he talks about the burned down village nearby is called the village of Hamel, and that's what it was called ... once. And everyone's like, oh, I never heard of a village called that. And he's like, you wouldn't have. I'm done here. Let's go back to Liberl. So Hamel will probably be important re Joshua sometime later in this game.
Yes. All right, and that's...
I was going to say, but that's where we stopped for the week. So let's listen to some new music and then talk about our memorable moments. All right, Bernard, do you have some memorable moments?
I really like Annalise.
I do too.
I like her voice clips. I love her voice clip when you win a battle and she goes, "I am invincible," or "Am I?" I'm like, that doesn't even make sense as a thing to say, but I love it.
That's great.
I like how she's just sort of a more different Estelle. Mm-hmm. She's like Estelle, but kind of less mature, but also kind of more mature and weirder.
Yes. She's kind of like the way that, like, two actors can read the same lines in different ways and create, like, different feeling characters over the same thing. Like, my that classic directing class project at Baylor where we all had the same, literally the exact same script with no stage directions, and we had to make up different stories, and it was all the same stuff but super different. It's kind of like that of Estelle, where it's like, oh, she's spunky and she is really cute and sweet at times, but also really badass at other times, and like all the same bullet points of Estelle, but reads completely different. Like while you're reading it, they're like, I wouldn't get these characters mixed up, even though they're a lot alike.
Yeah, and I really like that because in the first game, the dynamic was always you have fun Estelle and angsty sad boy Joshua being all mysterious and stuff. But now we have a very different dynamic, which is just two girls
guys
who
and
are
they're having a good time.
Yeah. What's better than this? Chicks being girls. That was supposed to be a reference to what's better than this, guys being dudes, but I don't think it worked.
No. Girls being chicks just sounds worse.
Yeah. But anyway, I really like Annalise. I really like when games have a long-running dynamic that is sort of core to most of the interactions, and then it gets flipped up. Like, I remember the third season of the Telltale Sam and Max games did that a lot, because you had 2 whole seasons where it's just Sam and Max doing their thing, but then in the third season it would be like, now Max is gone and this different character is hanging out with Sam, or now Sam is acting different because of hilarious plot reasons, or something like that. Anyway.
We should play the Sam and Max games. I've heard they're good.
They're all right. That's pretty much all I got.
All right. Since we're at the Annalise Appreciation Hour, one of the lines that I love from her is, "Well, yeah, cuteness is justice. It's the law." And
can we take a minute to also appreciate that if you go into her room, there's several stuffed animals on her desk?
Yes.
It's
and also, when you go into Estelle's room, there's several pairs of shoes.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, it's so good.
Then another Annalise moment is after you wake up from being knocked out by the sleeping gas or whatever. She's singing a song to herself about a stuffed bunny and a stuffed teddy bear, and it's I love her. And then finally, the dialogue choices, as always, are great. This game has some of the best, and so when you're going to bed, you have "stay up" or "slumber!" exclamation point. And then when the gunshots start going off, you have "wake up" or "don't care, slumber!" exclamation point. And then when you're going off to train, you have "we're ready" or "sweet goodness, not yet."
Yeah, sweet 80s, no.
It's so good. But what about you, Matt?
Oh boy, there's quite a few. I like the shift in tone in the beginning of this game a lot. It's like watching this is a terrible comparison, but it's the best one I've got. It's like watching 4 or 5 episodes of, like, dumb, goofy Friends. Like, Friends, the smash hit that nobody will ever let die. And then you get the one really serious episode.
Yeah.
And it starts an arc, 2 or 3 episodes of really serious. And that, it feels good because you get to, it felt good to me because I just spent a whole game falling in love with Estelle and Joshua and Cassius and Shara being, like, serious shonen anime goofballs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it immediately transitions into them being characters, capital C, dealing with real shit, capital RS.
Mm-hmm.
And it adds a depth to them right off the bat that, like, immediately lets me re-engage. I'm like, oh no, okay, I'm back in. Because this isn't just going to be the same game as one. It's going to be something whole different.
Yeah.
I also really, really, really like the dynamic between Shara and Cassius.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good because I was afraid Cassius would be one of those characters in games that, like, nobody's ever going to give him a hard time. He's the Goku style in a magnitude higher than everyone else.
Yeah.
Of importance that no one would be like, hey, dude, don't do that.
A Benedict Cumberbatch character.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. But, like, she immediately is on his butt about being a jerk.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good. That's it. All my stuff was, like, character moments.
Mm-hmm.
And the shoes. The shoes in Estella's room are great.
Yeah. One last one that I missed earlier is one of the empty chests in the sewer. It says, you open the chest and see riches beyond your wildest imagination. As you take your first step in your victory dance, you awaken. It was all a dream.
Oh, I completely forgot to
Check your chests.
check the chests.
You gotta check your chests.
You gotta check your chests.
I know. I'm already considering going back and redoing because I missed all those chests.
Yeah, and if you wanted to switch over to Vita, you might as well.
Yeah, that's a very real thing.
Yeah, I can point you in the direction of how to do that. But for now, that will do it for this episode. This series could not happen without the support of our Ko-Fi backers, so thanks to everyone who has been supporting us. If you're listening to this in the after times, you can come join us over at www.rpgbook.club, where you can get access to these episodes a month before everyone else does. Next week, we will be playing Chapter 1, which is entitled... what is it entitled in this game?
Hold on. Oh, I don't
Because
have it up anymore.
My notes say The Disappearance of the Lind, but that is definitely last game.
Something about smoke, swirling smoke.
Sneaking Shadows.
Shadows and smoke are basically the same thing.
Yeah. So we'll be playing Chapter 1, Sneaking Shadows. Just judging by the amount of entries on the Let's Play archive, it should be the same length as this chapter. So it should be not a whole lot. So we'll get that done, and then see you guys in 2 weeks to get that done. For Book Club no Kiseki, I am Sam Allman.
I'm David Bernard Houck.
I'm Matt Jorgensen.
Adios, amigos.